it's not that you're playing off someone dying, but when people are thinking about the Rolling Stones, you need to put them up what you got of it. And because I mean, I don't think about it as taking advantage of it. I think about it as getting to the collectors that really want to collect them. And sometimes you almost forget how much you love someone until they're gone. Before I hung up, she goes, is there anything else? And I go, yes. I just want to say I love eBay, and I love what they do for me, and I really appreciate it. And she's like, oh, well, thanks. And then when I hung up, boom, boom, boom. I got 8 sales on a Wednesday morning right after that happened. So, conspiracy theory. Maybe I should call more often and just say I love them, I love them, I love them.
Hey, Bluegrass, can we go thrift shopping?
Hello, YouTube world. My name is Anthony Long. Welcome back to the Bluegrass Picker channel. You came back. Why would you? What? I'm sure glad you did. What's sold on eBay? Last 2 days. I had a crazy couple of days on eBay. I think everybody probably noticed it. If you do eBay and you list and check things on your eBay phone app, I believe, what was it, Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday. The app went down, and it was one of the few days I didn't sell anything. I must always sell one thing a day at least, and because I have like 1,800 listings up, and so it was really weird for me not to sell. And then I noticed the app was down, so I figured, and I bet that was a problem for eBay. A lot of people, they probably realized a lot of people buy from the app, not on the computer anymore. But anyway, they all came rushing in the next 2 days. So, what sold on, I guess it was Monday. So, what sold on Tuesday, Wednesday? First thing that sold, a lot of these are just sports cards, because this is a good time for sports cards, because baseball is ramping up, getting ready to get to the playoffs, last month drive, so it's finishing up the divisions and the wild card. People are getting excited about their teams. And then they'll be bringing up a lot of rookies, because if you don't know anything about baseball, once you hit the major leagues, they've got you for 6 years basically, that you have no control over your contract. And so what they do is they hold you in the minors until the end of the year or halfway through the year, and this year doesn't get counted. It has to be a full year. So what they do is they bring up a lot of guys when they expand the rosters out here. It's usually beginning of September, and they may have changed it because of the new, what's happened the last couple of years. But anyway, so they'll be bringing up these young stars, and so it's good to have a bunch of young stars up on your eBay and be ready for when they get hot, people will be out there buying up their cards. Because a lot of these guys got drafted 2 or 3 years ago, and people almost forget about them. Anyway, what's sold on eBay? And a lot of these are just cheap cards. This one is a lot that I bought last year. Boy, I really cleaned up on this one. This is a autograph prism, and his name's Tony Jones Jr. He's a running back out of Notre Dame. This was a undrafted lot. So when it comes to drafting the NFL, there's not a lot of rounds, and so there's a lot of guys that don't get picked. So they become unrestricted free agents. They'll sign with teams to play on their practice, because a lot of these guys have practice teams, and then they can get put on the roster after someone gets hurt, kind of deal. And Tony Jones Jr. had a real good preseason game with the New Orleans Saints, I believe, and he came in and had a real good game. So this card sold for $9.95. I had a bunch of people offering. I thought about raising the price up, but just kind of wanted to sell because I've made so much money on this. I think I paid like 10 or 15 bucks, and I've sold probably 20 autographs out of that lot now through the last year. And people were sending me offers for $5, and I just declined them, and then it sold full price, $9.95. Next thing that sold was this Jorge Soler, who was a really great Royals player. Got traded from the Cubs to the Royals for Wade Davis a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. He never really turned into what we thought he was going to be. He had 1 year in 2019 where he had 48 home runs, broke the Royals record, got a lot of excitement, and then he hasn't done much last couple of years. So they traded him away to Atlanta Braves because Atlanta's had a bunch of injuries and a guy that got caught hitting his girlfriend or something. and so he got traded there, and he's having a pretty good year, but he's getting a spotlight on him a little bit. And I had this up for $28.95. Someone sent me an offer for $20, and I took it. It's cool because it's a autograph and it's numbered to 99. Next thing that sold was a Rafael Devers Prism. When it comes to baseball, I've said this before, the Panini is not the best one because you can't really put Red Sox. You can't put the symbol of the Red Sox because they don't have the trademark like Topps does, and which just ran out. There's gonna be a new There's gonna be a new what do you call it? A company, blah blah, that's taking over Topps spot. They lost the rights to being able to put the trademark on the cards, and it's called Fanatics. And I'm not even sure. I don't know if they make cards. I don't think they make cards. So that'll be a very interesting new thing when it comes, because Topps has been around for, I don't know, 70, 80 years when it comes to baseball. So, hey, pay more money and you get it. Next thing that sold was Kailyn Saunders. It makes you wonder, though, if Topps cards will be worth more money now because they'll be kind of obsolete. Anyway, this next one that sold was Kailyn Saunders. He's a defensive lineman with the Chiefs. This is his autograph. It's numbered to, I don't know, 99. And it was good to have that up. Someone bought it for $10. Someone actually lives real close to me, so the shipping will be like $3.05. But he's an okay lineman. I'm kind of surprised it sold. And I'm going to throw in a Nicole Hardman. I have a bunch of extra cards, and I always try to give out some extra cards with them just to kind of maybe get that feedback, because I'm not going to sell that card individually, so I might as well sell it, give it away, and to someone that likes the Chiefs already. I mean, even if I'm a Chiefs fan, so it goes to a Chiefs fan. The next thing I sold was Nicole Hardman. It's his rookie card Prism. They're not the best card. I had two of them here, and it sold for $14.95. And I did the same thing with that. Gave him 3 more cards that will not sell individually, so I might as well give it to him. Next thing it sold was I know there's a lot of different cards for cheap. Marquez, I don't even know, Valdez Scantling. He's a receiver for the Packers. This is a Prism card. It's a rookie card, which is pretty cool. And I believe it sold for $10. Well, I think I may have taken an offer for $7. Next thing that sold was a Sony Michelle. He is a running back for the Patriots. He's okay. He splits time, I believe. But this is his rookie card, and it is a Prism, so it's got that hologram look to it. And this is actually field levels, and it's a shorter print than the other versions in that same printing. And I threw in 3 other Sony Michelle cards with it because, like I said, they won't sell by themselves. Next thing that sold was a kind of a throwback to my history, my childhood. This is Jerry Rice. There's 3 cards in here. I don't want to put them all, but there's 3 different cards in here. And pretty much in all these new sets they put out, they'll put out veterans. And Jerry Rice makes the veteran list quite often. And I had 3 of those up for, I think, $15, and they took it. Next one is the biggest sale of all my cards that I sold this weekend. This is a cool one. His name is Justin Jefferson. He's a really good receiver. And it's a Panini Prism. I don't know the actual subset there. I got it hidden by the painter's tape. It's a piece of jersey. It's numbered to... Is it numbered? Yeah, it's numbered to 49. So it's a really unique card, rare. I had it for $99 or $89.95, and they sent me an offer for $70, and I took it. I shouldn't have had it that high in the first place, but it's a cool looking card. I thought I'd set on it and make it where someone offers $70 kind of deal. But this was a really good sale. But it's, like I said, this is not an autograph. It's hard to get over $50 for a card, even though it's a rookie. But that's another thing I'd like to say is I use painter's tape. You might see it on a lot of these cards at the top to keep them in there, because there's a lot of people that will sell you a card, send it to you, and if they don't put the right casing, so it slips out, and it's just hanging out in there, denting the sides up. So it's an easy, you know, you can buy that. You can buy a big roll at Dollar Tree for $1, and it lasts you forever. All right, the next things that sold are media, and I got these lots from Who's Tom Cruise. First one is Nas, and it sold for $7.95 plus shipping on top. Not a big sale, but still, you know, I'm in the profit now on these CDs, so that's just pure profit. So after fees, I've still made $7. Next thing that sold is Master P, I believe. No Limits Soldiers compilation. I guess I don't even know what it is. Doesn't matter. But it's No Limit Records, which was big in the late 90s, early 2000s. Master P's label, I believe, his executive producer. And this sold for $19.95. Great sale. These are rare. This is the original case and everything. So, good sale. And the next one was the same kind of deal. It's a Master P, No Limit Records. Sold for $18.95. Some more gangster rap. And then the last thing that sold was a cool one. And it's another thing I got from Who's Tom Cruise. But I got this last winter. It was a 45. It's a U2 Pride in the Name of Love. It's the single. And it's got Martin Luther King on the back, which is super cool. But it's a clean copy. People buy these a lot of times just for the sleeve. Having the original sleeve makes it worth it. So if you got some good 45s with the sleeve, or you got Elvis with Sun Records, you know, there's some really rare ones. You can make a lot of money with 45s if you know what's going on. But that's pretty easy too. You just go to eBay, push in 45s, LP, record, filter sold, and then filter highest price. See what's selling right now. It's fun investigating and, you know, just seeing what things are worth, honestly. And but these are some of the things that sold on eBay. And oh, real quick, my Rolling Stones tribute, Sticky Fingers there. It's got the zipper front of record, which is still a very unique record. But I wanted to say that, you know, Charlie Watts was awesome. Me and Harry did a top drummers of all time. He didn't make the list because he didn't try to stand out. You know, he was a perfect example of, most people don't realize, before the Beatles, it was mainly jazz. It wasn't rock and roll, you know. I mean, there were some things, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, there was a few things that were kind of like that, but it was mainly jazz and blues. And Charlie was a jazz drummer that played in a bunch of places that never, you know, it was him and his girlfriend and his friend that's at the pub. But he just took that into the Stones and just had some cool riffs. And he's just like, everybody knows him as like one of the nicest guys in rock and roll. But he passed away, and you know, people are. It's not that you're playing off someone dying, but when people are thinking about the Rolling Stones, you need to put them up what you got of it. And because I mean, I don't think about it as taking advantage of it. I think about it as getting to the collectors that really want to collect them. And sometimes you almost forget how much you love someone until they're gone. And so I think, you know, you can see it how you want, but, you know, I see it that way. And it's like, I'm getting these to mainly collectors. And that's another thing. Look how small, 14 items. It's easy to process. Just put cardboard around my cards, put these in bubble wrap. This is the only one that's a little bit hard, but I've got special containers to use for it. I had one more sale, I forgot. It's the Call of Duty. It's the metal tin one. Xbox 360. I guess it's a collector's edition thing. And it sold for $8.95. This is going to make for a long video, but I kind of wanted to share something real quick before I get off here. Also, too, when it came to, not only I didn't get any sales one day, and then I just got all these sales flooded with the next 2 days, which is 14 sales in 2 days for me is a big one. It's usually only the weekends when I get something like that. And I don't know if I've ever sold, because I had 10 in one day, especially on a Wednesday. A lot of them were in the morning. And the reason I think this, I know this is like a conspiracy theory, but I've seen other people say this, but I really think it's true. I had a problem on eBay. I've bought on eBay since 2003. I didn't start selling until a few years ago, but I've been buying for years. Never had a problem with the seller. There's been times where people, the shipping got screwed up and they made up for it or this and that, but not usually anybody screw up. Well, I had someone send me a card. It was a Trevor Lawrence rookie card, gold cracked ice, a really good card. I got it real cheap in an auction. I got it for like $8. It should go for like 25, but he had it at a wrong time, and he had $6, $5.99 for shipping, which I just factor that in when I'm bidding on something. He would have got, I know he would have got more if he wouldn't have had the shipping that high, because people factor that in. People think they're getting away with something by charging $6, but whatever, as long as he ships it, fine. And so I get it, and he had it in a soft sleeve, nothing else, no cardboard, no protective. I always put plastic around it in a plastic bag that are especially made for cards. Not everybody does that, which is fine, but not even a top loader. He just had it in a soft sleeve, and he threw it into a poly bag. When I got it, it was smashing my box, and it was bent like this. And I sent him a note. I'm like, hey man, you didn't put this in the top loader. It's bent. Like, what's up with that, man? And he must be new. He must be young. He goes, hey man, that's how it comes from Panini. And I'm like, dude, I've been breaking cards for years. That's not how it comes from Panini. I guess he's just hoping I was dumb, didn't know what I was talking about. And after a while, he finally admitted, he's like, sorry, yeah. He goes, did you get the extra cards sitting there too? I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was just one card in there smashed, And I gave him like a week. He never responded. He didn't respond to anything else. He didn't give me a partial refund, nothing. So he charged me $6 for the worst shipping ever, basically double. It doesn't cost. I can send something first class like that for $3.49 to Hawaii. So I know it didn't cost him that much, unless he's going to the post office and doing it that way, when that's his own fault. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's still at most it's $4.25. So anyway, I give him a week. He never does anything. He never gives me a refund, no nothing. So I contemplated for a while, but I'm like, I have to give him a negative. I've never given a negative in my life. Never needed to. But I'm like, I see why they do negatives, because I don't want this guy doing this to someone else and then trying to bully them after the fact, doing something wrong, and then trying to make me feel like that's just the way it is. So I put a scathing, like, but it was exactly what happened. I told him he didn't put in a top loader, and then after I told him that, he told me that's just the way they come. He was lying to me, I know, and it was bad customer service, because even after, if I made mistakes, I pay for it. I give him full refund, just move on, and he didn't do anything. And he wrote back something. It was like, I never said I was going to put in the top loader in the listing and all this stuff. I'm like, that's not going to work. He goes, it was meant when I had it. I'm like, but it's not when it got to me. That doesn't make any sense, Anyway, he went back and forth, asked me to revise it and all this stuff, still without giving a refund or anything. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to revise it. There's a reason why. I got to protect other customers. Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, he finally understands, gives me a partial refund, and he's like, are you going to take off the negative? So I went back to put it neutral, and I saw he had responded by something. And I told him, I go, as long as you understand, you can't do that. You have to protect these cards. A lot of people are buying these to grade or to collect. They're not buying it just for the heck of it, and then don't care what happens to it when it gets to you. And so I'm like, no, I'm not going to change it just because you are giving me a partial refund, and because you still obviously didn't learn your lesson. You're going to do it again. And then finally, after like 3 weeks, he gives me a full refund and realizes he's not. People are just trying to win. I'm not trying to win. I'm just trying to protect other customers at this point. And I tried to revise the feedback. I couldn't revise it because I guess it had been too long. He had sent me a revision, but it had expired. So I had to call eBay. So when I called eBay, I told them how I wanted to do that, and they're like, yeah, they made it real easy. Like, yeah, sure, we'll just take it off for you, as long as, we get the right thing here. And before I hung up, she goes, is there anything else? And I go, yes. I just want to say I love eBay, and I love what they do for me. And I really appreciate it. And she's like, oh, well, thanks. And then when I hung up, boom, boom, boom. I got 8 sales on a Wednesday morning right after that happened. So, conspiracy theory. Maybe I should call more often and just say, I love them, I love them, I love them. Because I've heard other people say that. It makes you wonder. Anyway, grind on, friends.
Bye from Bluegrass Pickers. Stay tuned.